Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, as Krishna describes to Arjuna the nature of existence, the nature of reality through Samkhya philosophy, through Advaita Vedanta, an important concept that comes up in Samkhya philosophy that we can also take with us off the yoga mat is essentially describing what prakriti actually is. So from earlier, we took a look at how prakriti is anything that can be seen, felt, observed. And within prakriti is made up of something called the gunas. So the gunas are essentially three primordial elements that make up everything in existence that we can experience. This can be anything physical, anything that's a mental process, or anything that we may feel in our hearts. So the gunas basically describe a vibrational quality of anything that is manifest. So you can kind of think of this in a sense like the yogic periodic table of elements, if you will. But the gunas describe energetic or emotive tonal qualities that make up prakriti in various ratios and compositions. It kind of describes how anything, whether it's physical or not physical, is made up of sort of a vibrational quality. So the three gunas are tamas, sattva, and rajas. I'll just start with rajas. So rajas describes more of a higher frequency, kind of an effervescent type of quality. It's buzzy, elevated, passionate. It describes when we're in the mode of doing activity or when we have energy. At the other end of the spectrum is tamas. Tamas is a much lower vibrational frequency, which describes a more heavy type of energy, lethargic feelings, laziness, being inert, describes darkness and ignorance. Now, the one right in the center is called sattva. And from a yogic perspective, this is what we're aiming to achieve in our yoga practice. So sattvic qualities are things like being centered, steady. It describes goodness, light, and purity. As we engage in the world and engage in various complex situations, sometimes challenges or joy, it can be sometimes helpful to look at it through the lens of the gunas. As a situation arises, whether you call that a good or bad experience, the gunas can describe that sort of energetic or vibrational quality. So, for example, in a modern workplace, we have deadlines, we have tasks that need to be completed each day, and the nature of business to get things done is describing rajas. Sometimes as a result of business, we can be exhausted from our long work weeks, our long work days, all of the responsibilities that we have to complete. And it can also sometimes leaving us feeling tamasic, feeling tired, lazy and lethargic from expending all of our energy. Now, yoga is wonderful because it has so many tools that help us to upregulate or downregulate depending on what we need. And this is important to understand on the yoga mat in terms of what we need at different times might look different. Different tools might come up at different times to help us achieve the state of sattva, of being centered and steady and feeling balanced. So if everything in the material world is comprised of these gunas in different ratios and compositions, this can sometimes be helpful to be able to identify situations for what they are from an energetic perspective. It can sometimes help us to create a little bit of distance from a tamasic or, say, a rajasic energy to notice if we can respond in a particular way so that our own emotive qualities can remain a little bit more sattvic.